Welcome everyone to the Gorlitz High Performance Garage channel. It's Sunday, another Sunday morning. I'm gonna go ahead and change the carburetor on this on the old beast here. So I'm not getting very good performance out of this one because it's been sitting around on another truck for years and years, and it just needs overhauled. And it's a pretty much a mess. I should have known better than to put this on there, but the other carburetor had sucked a bunch of rust and garbage in it from my bad gas tank that's in the cab that I never took out, but I put the fuel cell in and all that shit. I'm gonna go ahead and swap these out today and probably take it on a test drive and see how it does. Can no longer leave me still on the road like it's done before. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and we'll test drive this after I get it on there. And then I'll have to go get some supplies for the Chevelle. And hopefully before it rains this afternoon, which I can assume that it's probably going to do because I'm off. So, yeah, right. So, we're going to go ahead and get this off here. And we'll see how this other carburetor acts. I cleaned it up real good, and it's been just sitting on the workbench here. And we're going to see what we can make happen here. It's just been sitting here, waiting patiently. That's a cup that I brought over eons ago, and I never did. I never did take it over to wash it. I should do that today. Anyway, here's what we got. 600 Holly I overhauled. I've had this in for like 25, 30 years. It's an old carburetor. But it worked good until it got full dirt, and then I had to clean it all up and take it all apart. Clean it all up, and I just went ahead and replaced any gaskets that I thought was bad or was going to go bad or that didn't look good. And that's about it. I don't know about this. I'm going to have to take this the fuck off there. I don't believe this will work. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see here. Yes. Let's take it off. Take it off. Take it off, baby. Oh, yeah. I need somewhere to sit this bitch. For some reason, I got this hose won't come off here. Move this shit. I got gas going everywhere. Wow, that son of a bitch is on there. Wow. Jesus. Well, boy, that I don't know. I'm not sure what to to make all that. I guess that's normal. I don't know. This is a looks like a breather. It's a PCV valve. It fits. It kind of looks like a breather. It goes into the carburetor. It's got a little passageway in here. Looks like a breather, and there's a PCV valve in the valve cover. This is like a stock type thing. It's a stock hole, and I happen to have this laying around. I don't even remember where the fuck I got it, but it's for the PCV valve, and it just feeds the crankcase vapors into the carburetor. There's a little bit of oil up in there. I guess that's okay. I guess that'll be just fine. So, sure I get everything off here. Need off here. Oh, we got that plugged off on this one. I have to unplug that. Oh, that thing's dry rot. Oh yeah, babies. Ugh. That's pretty rough. Let's get gasket off here, put it on this one. Get this, put it on there. No wonder it wouldn't come off. It's a little fucking tight going on. Well, I guess that's a good thing. Should be tight. Well, you little bastard. Get in there. So. Eureka. There we go. I think we got her. Think we got it. Yes. We got this shit. Alright, take another vacuum plug off of there. Well, no. I'm gonna use the intake vacuum for that. We use the old intake vacuum for that shit. Yeah. Boy, that looks pretty rough. Let me just rob a plug off of this one. Man, these little plugs that you can get for on these carburetors, they are really hard to get off there once you get them on. I mean, bitch. Let's see, this one comes on there. Here we go. Ah, yeah, there we go. Ooh. Nah, that's too big. Fuck it, man. It's just a different size. Down at the bottom. There we go. Fuck it. Fuck that shit. There it is. Get my rag out of the way here. Okay, now comes the part where start hooking shit back up. Put these nuts back on. I tell you what, though, when I look at this truck, it kind of makes me wonder just how much abuse this thing has went through over the years. You know, since it was, you know, purchased, and what kind of work it did, where it was at. I knew it had an accident. It's obvious by the bodywork on the cab back here, where I got the big license plate covering up the big dents. It's kind of makes you wonder just what kind of a life the truck had. And then there were some things on this truck, like underneath of it. It is string of fucking kind of reminded me of fucking Christmas lights, but they were those square little trailer lights that you put on car trailers, and they use those, you know, just for like marker lights. But they had them on this thing, and they were I thought it was pretty fucking funny. They had it on there and they had all these blue lights, like you'd hit a toggle switch inside, and then, you know, you'd have all these like a redneck street glow or some shit. But none of that shit worked when I got the truck. It just caused a lot of wiring problems, and it was really fucked up. What's going on here? Like this is bent. But it was and there was a hell of a string of wires underneath this thing, and you know, it made me laugh a little bit as I pulled them off, because there were so many. And you never, that's not something really you expect to run into, but when people do things that they think is custom to vehicles, sometimes it makes you fucking laugh. It is quite hilarious. People do shit like that, and they're like, "Oh man, that's gonna look awesome," and it's really just fucking retarded. So, get this in position here. I like to have it back just a little bit, so have some slack. Oh, I'm gonna have to change that. That right there, that's gonna have to change. I'll get my wrenches and take that off quick. Tighten this other nut up. course, we won't need that. The rest of this little excursion. Yeah, we're going to have to take that off of that one. Say about a 1/2 inch. No, it's not. 7/16. Try 7/16. Yeah, that's it. That's it. There we go. First size is that. I think it's under 7. Yes, it is. Car not starting. See them labels on the batteries. Car not starting. Read out your local Walmart where a bunch of snot-nosed fucking kids that don't know what they're doing can jumpstart your car. Or give you another battery that, you know. Your car didn't come with that battery. We're going to have to give you the right battery. Even though you changed your application completely and it's kind of custom, we're just going to say no. You can't have that. You ever notice that at Walmart? If you ever buy tires from there, what size this thing is, you can't get a custom sized tire at Walmart because if it didn't come on that car, they don't want you having that bastard. It's like, wow, what the fuck, man? It's like, I just want to do a different size because that's just what I want. No. They will bite the fingers that feed them because they don't like doing that custom bullshit. It's like, no, you can't do that, motherfucker. You cannot do that. How dare you? How dare you do that? You dirty son of a whore. How dare you get custom shit? How dare you want to put better than stock tires on? So. Shop dog's out there barking. Shop dog. Yeah, it works, doesn't it? That greasy bastard out of the way. Okay. Let's get this son of a biatch on here. For my kick down, gotta have my kick down. Even though it's got 456, you don't really need the kick down. But it's fun to have it on this application because when you kick the son of a bitch down, it really kicks down. When you kick her down, oh baby, look out. Gets all sideways and squirrely on you. That's just because those short tires. So it's just them little 50 series tires does that shit. I guess they did that. Back in the 90s, there was people doing that shit. I don't know why, but they really went overboard with the tiny tire bullshit back then. Like you would see a fucking great big pickup truck, these wee little tires on them. They're going through that stage. I can't. That son of a bitch on there. Why aren't you going back on there? You rotten bitch. There we go. All right, return spring on. This is important. I have had these motherfuckers come off down the road. While I'm driving it down the road, had these motherfuckers fly off of here. I had a 1970 Chevelle was my first car. Me and my dad bought years ago. Well, my dad bought it. I didn't buy it. I was like 14. My dad bought it. We fixed it up. Painted it yellow. Put some performance goodies in it. Oh, got the spider webs going already in here as soon as it warms up. But anyhow, fucking shit. Anyway, long story short here, I was driving that car one day and it had a 600 Holly on it, just like this. And I don't know what the hell was the deal, but for some reason they already have a spring on them. And there's something wrong with it. Or no, I'm sorry. It wasn't the Holly. It was the Quadrajet. And a Rochester Quadrajet on there. And the choke was wired open. When I say wired open, you know little wire ties they used to put on bread, loaves of bread? Well, they still do now. It's not the plastic clip, it's the little wire tie they put on loaves of bread, on bread bags. We took that, that little wire tie, and tied on the linkage that opens and closes that choke, and wired it open. So, you know, because it didn't work anyway. It had electric choke on it, didn't work. We wanted a heat riser spring because GM back in the day on their intakes, they had a place where you could put this spring, and it had a little tin box on it, and it had a little linkage coming out of the side of the box that was hooked on the spring, and it was hooked on your choke. And when the spring was cold, it was shut. It would bring the choke shut. So when you would go in it the next morning, pump it a couple times and hit the switch, it would fire up right up and fucking idle, real nice. And that spring, they called it a heat riser spring. And as it would get hot, it would expand and open, and your choke would slowly open. And they worked quite well. Worked really good. It's a fucking fantastic option and idea. Whoever did that, somebody like that should have lived forever and should have still been a part of GM's engineering department, because that guy knew his shit, whoever invented that. Because these designers and engineers now, they fucking lick balls. So, as you can see from all the garbage and trash that they're producing now, and they've been producing since the year 2000, junk. But anyway, that Quadrajet, the throttle return spring just, for some reason, flew off of that bastard. I was coming up the road here, and I decided to get in on it. Sorry, I got hair in my mouth. I decided to punch it, and when I did, then I left out of it. Well, my foot left out of it, but the car didn't, because the spring was off. This throttle return spring was laying on the intake, and that son of a bitch took me for a fucking ride. It didn't only do this to me once, but twice. Did it to me out not too far from here. I was coming home from school, first time I drove it. But what I did is I ended up just shutting the car off. I got it stopped. I just shut her down. It had manual brakes on it, so I just stopped it, got out. Opened the hood, looked to see what was wrong, and the spring just laid there, so I just put it on. I fired the car back up and went on my way. But one time I was coming home from school with my cousin, and there was an intersection out there close to where he lives, and on these back roads back here. And I told him, I was like, yeah, I was like, let's get on it a little bit, you know. So I had them 410 rears in it, you know, pausies, and I stomped on it a little bit, and it was old tar and chip because the tar comes up through the chips they put on the road. And I got a little squirrely with it. And I was just going to get a little squirrely, just slide around the turn, straighten her up, and go. Well, it decided to pop off, and I couldn't get it to stop. It was spinning and doing donuts, and I was just correcting the son of a bitch. It started to the point where I was starting to lose it. Next thing I know, I'm in the neighboring cornfield with it, and I flew up in there, spun around in the cornfield. I got her back down the road and I shut her down. It happened so fast. And there was absolutely no damage on that car at all. There was a weed hanging off one of the turbo mufflers underneath. I went over that son of a bitch and I was like, I cannot believe this. I can't believe that I'm damage free here. So it was pretty fucking awesome. But anyhow, let's see if this rotten bitch will fire and idle. I may have to make some adjustments here. Oh man, got to tighten up my line. Just a little bit, huh? Where's my screwdriver? Common mistake. Yes. Rookie mistake. She's definitely getting some fuel, that's for sure. All right, everybody. Let's hit her again here. Not sure what's going on there. Oh boy. Looks like some gas was blowing up out of it from somewhere else. Huh. Yeah. I got a stuck float. Alright. That's not a good thing, huh? Alrighty then. Having way more gas here than what I need. Let's thing. And we got over here, just hit her. We got a mess over here. Well, let's try it again, see what happens. It's saying I can't see nothing out here. Well, for some reason it's got a big dead spot in it. Not sure what the fuck that is. Might have to go to a higher power to adjust that son of a bitch. Well, folks, there you go. Carburetor swap. I'm not sure if I'm going to get bugs out of this bastard or not. The Holly on my Chevelle, I have it tuned in perfectly. So I'm not real sure what the deal is with this, but I have a cousin that fucks with these Hollies and timing and all that stuff, and maybe I'll have him come out and check it out. It's got a giant dead spot right in there. I adjusted the accelerator pump. It's out of adjustment here. It's all the adjustment I can get it. I mean, when you, there is a, I mean, as soon as you touch it, it's pumping. So maybe you would bring it up off a little bit more. It is. It's as much out there as I can get it. So, not real sure what to do there. You put a washer or two under that bastard. But anyhow, there you go. There you have it. There it is. It's on. We'll have to test drive it and see how it's doing. And I got robins making nests on my pickup truck up here. I'm going to have to take that down. But anyhow, everybody, have a good one. I might have another video on the Chevelle, maybe. We'll test drive this bitch and see how it does. And it don't have much fuel left. I can tell you that, because this son of a bitch here really sucks gas. So, all right, everybody. Have a good one. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you here on the next one. Yeah, that's the only bad part about spraying. Fucking robins are building nests on everything. They had a nest on my fucking light on my porch last night. I had to rip that off. So, but anyway, everybody, have a good weekend. Well, it's basically the end of the weekend. Sundays fucking suck. I fucking hate them. Anyhow, everybody, have a good one. I'll see you back here on the next one. You'll never guess where I'm at. I'm in my car. I'm in the Chevelle. We're back in my garage. It's alive. It moves. It runs. It shifts very, very hard. Thank fucking God. I didn't think I was ever going to get this son of a bitch done. It fought me. It fought me at first. Can't get a dipstick. Can't get a fucking dipstick for this whore. I have to order one off of Evil Bay, because nobody around here understands what I'm talking about when I say dipstick for transmission. A turbo 350 or 400. They think I'm trying to turbo a 350 small block or a 400 small block. I really hate today. Today sucks. The past was so much better. When I grew up, it was such a better time when I grew up. Everybody understood what you were talking about when you said this stuff. These kids, these 20-something kids today, they have no clue what I'm talking about when I say things. They have no common sense. Unfortunately, we let video games play a big part in their lives. When I was a kid, we had video games, but you didn't, I mean, there was an end. They ended, or you died in the game, and that was it. You had to play over again and start over, back from you were. There was no saving it. So, whatever. I'm getting off topic here, but I have no dipstick in it right now. I don't want to run it too far because I have nothing in there. And you get them hot and bothered, and you get them going, and you get them foamed up and stuff, and it'll blow right up out of that tube. So I'm not going to do that. We're going to just wait on the dipstick. I'm going to get that buddy of mine to come over, run the timing light on it. We're going to get it in time. I have to get a fuel pump. I got to order another one of those bastards. It never ends, folks. It never fucking ends. I'm going to have to lay on my back in here on my floor and put another one of those on. At least it'll be a little easier this time because it's already established, so I can just swap them out and get this other one on. As you know, if you've been paying attention, I ripped the wire out, the ground wire, out of the electric fuel pump with my cross member. And right now I have the wire with a zip tie on my fuel line. I have them both zip tied to the fuel line, the hot and the ground. And I have the ground jammed in there back as far as I can get it. I thought about gluing it. I should have, I guess. I don't know, but it won't last. It'll just. I'm just delaying the inevitable because I'll be far away from home, and something will happen. I'm pretty sure. So I can't stop yawning because I'm sleepy. I'm sleepy. This is the results of sleep apnea because my neck is too big. So. But I will, it's not just because I'm fat, it's because my neck is big. I know other people that have big necks that still have it and aren't hardly fat at all. They just have a big neck, and it's whatever. It is, I guess, what it is. But, yeah, now the next thing I'm going to do with the truck is I'm going to, here I go again. I'm going to, Jesus Christ. I'm going to pull the steering wheel off and paint it. I'm going to paint it silver, like a silvery metallic, and maybe clear coat it. So the oils off your hands break down shit on your steering wheel. That's why these older vehicles, the steering wheel is all shiny and, you know, it's all shiny. Ooh, this is wood. This is wood. It's really dirty back there. I'll clean it up. But yeah, it'll run. It runs now. It's probably advanced a little far. Actually, that's pretty good. And it's full of dust. It's very dusty. Needs hosed off. So, but we're going to worry about this stuff later at another time. Now it moves. That's the end of this fiasco. I would call it a series, but I don't want to call it that. I may have to rename some of those videos, but anyhow, we got it, and that's all that matters. We got it. It's in the other garage. I'm going to get another dipstick there. I need one out of a pickup truck. I actually forgot. I'm going to check this other truck up here, this parts truck, and see if I have one in it. The one is an automatic, and the other one's a straight stick. I wish the one with the straight stick still ran, because I would like to drive it around, actually. But it didn't have any brakes. I think I would have drove it up and down the road here a little bit. If it needs a master cylinder. And I'm not aggravating with a fucking parts truck. Fuck that shit. That's a waste of time to fuck with that to try to get it to go again. Plus, I took the steering column out of it, so you ain't gonna take it anywhere anyway. But anyway, I'm gonna see if that dipstick will work. We'll try it. I'll pull it out up there, measure it, see what it is. It should have one. I may see my old friend Mr. Snake in there because I've seen a little snake. That little bastards crawl around through there everywhere. There was a snake in that fucking truck up there. It was a little snake. It's just a little gardener snake, and it wasn't very big. You know, it's like you kind of get startled when you see something like that. You're not expecting to see it, and it's like, whoa, oh, it's a fucking snake. Where's my shovel? But anyhow, we're up and running. We're going to have to put a fuel pump in her, a dipstick. The oil needs changed. The timing needs set correctly. I may put that vacuum advance on and see how it's going to act with that. I think I'm going to start leaning toward mechanical advance. Because this is a crock of shit. It's like the last one I put on there. It made the car miss. I don't know why. It made it miss. It's like, did I not put the right vacuum on it? I put the vacuum off the metering block on it, and it worked. But anyhow, that is the end of this transmission shit. The flex plate's in right. New starter. New transmission. Fairly new engine. Rear end is new. We cannot go wrong now. We cannot. Brakes are good. Everything here is fantastic. Everything's great. We shouldn't have any problems. And it's real wood, by the way. Oh well. Well, everybody. And my truck works pretty good too, by the way. I took it for a test drive. I'm going to post another video there where I put a carburetor on the truck. I might just blend them in with this one. But I put that other Holly on my truck, and it's got a dead spot in it, but it runs pretty damn good with that. It doesn't seem like it starves itself for fuel like the other one was. The other one, I'm going to rebuild it. Oh, fuck. I'm going to rebuild it, put it on standby, and we're going to have it for the next engine. Well, plus I already have one on the big Mamma Jamma here in the garage. I keep telling you I'm going to rebuild. I haven't touched yet. But I will build it before the summer's out, as it's going in the Blue Beast. And then the one in the Blue Beast will probably go in the other truck right there. I will probably put the engine out of the Blue Beast in the 84 C10 that I call Junkyard. Yeah, that's a thing now when you name your vehicle. So we have the Blue Beast, which I kind of got it off the Beast character off X-Men. I know you're probably thinking I'm a faggot or a retard or whatever. Well, let's not say faggot. Let's say that maybe you think I'm a homo. Okay, that works better. But anyhow, I get them all named. Like the white LTD is Grandma. The Chevelle, I never named it. I never thought to name it. I never really thought about naming it. I just always called it the Chevelle. So, which, that could be all right. That's okay, I guess. But I know Dad's GTO Judge, when I was little, I always called it the rat car. I never ever really called it the Judge. I always called it the rat car because he had glass back mufflers on it when I was a kid, and it was really loud. Really loud. So, now everyone, we are good. Got it up here, get it out of my dad's way. I actually got to go down the other garage and clean up my mess. Sweep the floor and all that stuff. To show a little common courtesy towards my father. So I will sweep the floor. I already put my tools away. I sweep the floor. I got all my junk out of there. I left the transmission cooler down there. I'm going to have to put that on. I have the one, I'm using the one on the radiator right at this time. I may have to add another quart of transmission fluid to it for that. I got to mount it there someplace. My dad says this 12-inch fan I have on the front of it can't keep this car cool. But actually, the gauge at the car, the Frostburg Super Cruise down here, well, that's not the Super Cruise. The 1051 is. This is the Main Street Cruise. When I had it down there, I brought it up through town, and it got up to 260 degrees on my gauge over here, and that's just impossible. 220's pushing it. 220's really pushing it. That means you're at the point of blowing water out. It's coming out of the overflow already. And usually, the 260, it'd be blowing it out of there somewhere. It would have blew a hose off. It would have been blowing antifreeze out of it like a fucking geyser. So there's no fucking way that thing got to 260 fucking degrees. There's no way. I'm going to go to Hobo Freight here and get one of them laser thermometers. And I'm going to let this thing sit and idle in the garage here. Whenever it shows that it is to operating temperature, which is about 180, 190, I'm going to put that fucking thing right on the intake, right next to that goddamn sending unit. And we're going to see what the actual temperature is. Because I don't think that's right. Can't be. But anyhow, I'm kind of getting off topic here. But anywho, I'm just rambling on. Here, I'll give you a shot of the cattle. The cattle are out. All the cows are out. Moo, moo. Yes. One actually did get out. About 2.5 weeks ago. It was an Angus bull. He got out and he was trotting up and down the road out here. He got through the fence there someplace. He just kind of trotting up and down the road. He's stopping everybody's yard, just kind of eat. He just graze a little bit. And you run after him a little bit. He'd run into brush over here in the woods. And then he'd run around and he'd come out of the brush somewhere else. And he'd just kind of just tromp up the road, just casually walk. And he ran over to my neighbors, ran all through his yard and fucking ate all kinds of grass out of there. And he was content, the old bastard. He was, well, it's a young bull. He was looking for a hole in the fence, especially when I came down the road and saw him. He was looking hard. He was looking, thinking, God, where the fuck did I come through? He couldn't remember. But I've seen him way up in that top field. They farm that top field there because there's a fence line. You can see where the weeds are growing up and where there's some bushes. Yeah, the fence line up there. You probably can see the fence line. Yeah, you can see it. You can see the fence line. Beyond that fence line, they mow some of that, mow some hay off some of that. Then some of it they plant corn in there. Just fucking old field corn. Sometimes they'll plant a little bit of sweet corn. If I can talk. They'll plant a little bit of sweet corn in there. And we'll have sweet corn. And I can usually get it off of them for nothing. But sometimes they sell it along the road and I'll buy some just to be nice. But I'm not a big corn eater no more because I can't really eat that shit. I'll swell up like a fucking balloon. I'll look like a fucking, well, I already look like a pig, but I'll swell up like a fucking balloon inflammation. This food we buy today is just horrendous. It is some awful shit. I just don't understand how they can keep producing food like this and get away with it. Everything's got antibiotics. They're pumping chickens full of antibiotics. They're putting all these pesticides on our food, our vegetables, to make them, to keep the bugs off them. I mean, I get that, but could you develop something a little safer? Maybe something simple to put on them. Bugs hate all kinds of shit. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I'm not a chemist. But I know they put Roundup on a lot of that shit. That stuff gives people cancer. And they're putting it on their fucking food. And then bread is about the worst thing you can eat. Just regular white bread. Wheat is actually worse. Because they put all kinds of bullshit in it. They put all kinds of bleach and they put this stuff called benzene chloride in there with bleach to bleach the flour, to add preservatives to the bread, because they say sliced bread molds the fastest, which it does. But doing this with the bleach in the flour and that benzene chloride and God knows what else they put in it keeps it longer. But then you get a little bit of that each time you eat a piece of bread. And you're talking, inflammation and fat storage. It fucks with your chemistry in your brain, and it's awful. And I didn't gain this weight because I'm a fucking hog-headed of an eater. I gained it because this food that we have now is just no good. It's just no good for you. And then the diet industry has to come in and try to fuck you over. They give you falsehoods of things that, oh my God, this works, take it. You can still eat donuts and take that. It's like, no, you can't. I mean, if you baked your own bread at home here, I mean, my mother used to bake bread when I was a kid down there all the time. We lived off fucking bread. She had a bread machine. We would have bread all the time. Every time you turn around. And I never gained a pound. I eat the fuck out of that shit. I've never gained a pound from this store-bought bread, but you'll put fat on your ass in a hurry. So you got to sit around and think about what you're shoving in your jaws. The fat, and fast food's probably the worst for you. It's really got the preservatives jacked to it. Everything's synthetic. The beef, they inject them with shit. But going back to that benzene chloride, that stuff will eat you. It will eat your fucking fingers off. You stick your hand in it, it'll fucking disappear. I ain't no fucking shit. I ain't kidding you. My dad used to work for a place that's what they did down here. It's called Orts Incorporated or Fibred Incorporated. And he worked there for a long time. He used to just load the trucks with the stuff. And then when the one building got ruined by a flood one year, so they moved them all down into Cumberland at the other facility, and he had to work second shift. And he was around all those chemicals, and it was what they do to the bread flour. They ship it to companies to make bread that you buy in the store. And his hair actually had red spots in it. Has dark brown hair originally, and when he worked there, parts of his hair was red from the chemicals just being around them in the same building. Turns hair, his head, and it wasn't this red. It was like burgundy color, unnatural burgundy looking shit. And they caught a snake down there, a big old black snake one time. And they opened a barrel of that. One guy he worked with opened up a barrel of that benzene chloride, and they threw that snake in that shit. He disappeared. There's no more snake. It completely ate every bit of evidence that there was even a snake. It ate everything, bones, everything. It just dissolved that shit. Now that's some bad fucking shit. We actually had back in the 90s a truck, a tanker truck, wrecked on the interstate close to my house here. Well, the interstate's probably a mile up over the hill here away from me or so. Anyhow, they had a tanker truck. It wrecked. It rolled over on its side. None of that stuff leaked. But they said if it would puncture, the tank would have got punctured and been out. We would all had to evacuate the area. We had to take our animals, ourselves, and anything we could grab and leave. Because they said it would have made a cloud in the area. It would have had like a dense fog. And if you were to breathe that, it would eat your fucking lungs. Now that's some dangerous fucking shit. That stuff is extremely powerful. It's highly concentrated like that in a big tanker. It's, hundreds of times stronger than what it would be in a 5-gallon or 55-gallon drum or bucket or whatever. It's way more lethal in bigger amounts. And they were thinking about evacuating us, but they were able to move the truck and the tank without it leaking. But my dad said that stuff would actually eat the blacktop off the road. So, yeah, just think about what you're putting in your fucking bodies. And just think about that. If everybody actually knew what was in store-bought bread, you would never buy it again. I haven't ate regular store-bought bread in years. Now, I do eat the 647, the keto-friendly stuff. It has the ingredients on it, and there's hardly anything in it. And it does mold quickly. So you got to eat it. You got to eat it fast, because it doesn't even last a week hardly. It might just barely get you through a week, but when I bring it home, we usually go through pretty fast. So it's got I think it's got like 3 or 4 carbohydrates a slice, something like that. But you factor in your protein and fiber in there, and that takes the carbohydrate number down. But anyway, the ingredients are, yeast and flour and fucking water. And there's some other shit. It's not a great big list. You have a huge list in regular store-bought bread. If you just look at the ingredients list when you're shopping, compare it to the 647 to the regular, and there is a huge difference. I mean, this stuff is designed to kill you. I mean, I don't like talking politics or government shit, but this stuff will fucking kill you. It will. And that's a promise. It'll eventually, it ain't gonna get you right away. It'll eventually kill you. It'll put you in such poor health that it will kill you. So when you buy things like this, the best thing for you to do is to make your own goddamn bread. They make bread dough, but I would rather just buy a bag of unbleached almond flour, actually, and mix in with a little bit of unbleached regular flour that you can buy at the store. It does not have any preservatives in it that I know of. You can get it completely organic. And usually you keep it in the freezer, because if you don't, it'll have bugs in it. Or put it this way, there are bugs in it, and they will come out when they get warm. If you put it in the freezer and keep it in there, it keeps the bugs from coming out of it, because they're like frozen. And you'll consume these bugs and not even know it. So they won't kill you. This worst stuff is what they're pumping into their bread. Because you have it in bread. Any store-bought fancy buns, like a King's Hawaiian shit, that's really loaded with it. That'll fucking kill you, that shit. But anyway, we got the Chevelle back, and we're going to cruise a little bit this summer. And we're going to see what she's got whenever I get her in time and get a dipstick. We're gonna hammer. Now I got to see if my rear seal was leaking or not, because I had to actually take a piece of emery paper and run over the yoke on the end, because there was actually some stuff on it. Plus we had to cut that yoke down, and it had some rough edges. I smoothed them all up with the emery paper, and it really smoothed it up nicely. And I slowly put it in. I lubed it up with a little bit of Vaseline. Yes, Vaseline. And I put it in there. And it wasn't leaking when I put the drop shaft back in. So I guess we'll find out here in a minute. And I'll know, because I'll be cussing and raising hell if it's leaking, because that's going to piss me off. I bought 6 quarts of transmission fluid at Napa this morning, and it was $69. $69 fucking dollars, and it was their brand. It's crazy shit. But anyhow, folks, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to try and enjoy the rest of my day. I got to get out and clean up my mess. And you all like, share, comment, subscribe to the Garlet's High Performance Garage channel. And maybe we can get on with the other projects I have. Now that most of these other 2 are knocked out of the way, we'll go with the other projects and continue with that son of a bitch right there. I have a suspension rebuild to do on it. I have to do the brakes. I have to put a rear transmission seal in that thing. And I'm going to put exhaust on it. I'm going to run it with the 305 for a little while. It's got a Turbo 350C in there. It has a lockup converter system, which has a higher overdrive in it. It's really nice. It shifts into really high gear, but later on I'm gonna fix up and shift kit the fuck out of it. And I was told to leave the lockup converter. The lockup stall converters ain't worth a fuck, so we're gonna use the factory converter because it's still kicking, and we'll go from there. All right, everybody, have a good one. I'll see y'all on the next one.